Gatsby? What Gatsby?
I'm Gatsby.
Only Gatsby was exempt from my reaction. Gatsby, who represented everything for which I have an affected scorn.
I can't describe how surprised I was, old sport, when I found that I was in love with her. I was even hoping for a while that she'd throw me over. But she didn't, because she loved me too. Getting deeper in love every moment. I don't think she ever loved him. You must realize, old sport, that she was extremely excited this afternoon. She hardly knew what she was saying. Of course, maybe she loved him just for a minute when they were first married. And loved me so much more then, too. Do you see?
I was going to trade a pool today, Mr. Gatsby. The leaves will start falling pretty soon. And you know there's always trouble with the pipes.
Oh, well, don't bother with it today, old sport. You know I never use that pool over the summer. Oh, it's about 12 minutes to my train. I'll call you up. Do, old sport. I'll call you about noon. I suppose Daisy will call, too. I reckon so. Well, goodbye, old sport. They're a rotten crowd. You're a whole damn bunch of them put together. Goodbye, Gatsby. I enjoyed our breakfast.
I hear you went to Oxford.
Yes, I went there.
I'd like to know when.
It was 1919. I was only there for about 5 months, which is why I can't exactly call myself an Oxford man.
Open the whiskey, Tom.
Now wait a minute. I'd like to ask him one more question.
Go on.
What kind of a row are you trying to cause in my household anyhow?
He's not causing a row. You're causing a row. Please, have some self-control.
Self-control? I suppose the idea here is to let a Mr. Nobody from nowhere come over here and make love to my wife. Well, if that's the idea, then count me out of it. People begin by sneering at your families and your family institutions. I suppose next they'll be okay with intermarriage between black and white.
Now look, we're all white here.
I know I'm not very popular. I don't throw big parties like Mr. Gatsby. But I suppose you have to make a pigsty of your house in order to make a few friends.
I have something to tell you, old sport.
Please, let's go home. Let's go home.
That's a good idea. Come on, Tom. Nobody wants a drink.
Um,
Your wife never loved you. Do you hear me? She never loved you. She loved me.
You must be crazy.
She only married you because I was way too poor, and she got tired of waiting for me. It was a huge mistake, but deep down in her heart, she only loved me.
Sit down. Daisy, what's been going on? I want to hear all about it.
I told you what's been going on. It's been going on for the past 5 years.
You've been seeing this fellow for 5 years?
Not seeing, no. We couldn't meet. But that entire time we both loved each other, and you never knew.
No, Daisy loved me when she married me, and she loves me now.
No.
And what's more, is I love her too.
do you know why we left Chicago? I'm surprised you didn't tell that little story, that little spree.
Just tell me that you never loved him, and it will all be wiped away.
I never loved him.
Not at Capiolani?
No.
Not the time when I carried you down from the punch bowl to keep your shoes dry? Daisy?
Please don't. Oh, you want too much. I love you now. Isn't that enough? I did love Tom in the past, but I loved you too.
You loved me too?
Even that's a lie. There are things between me and Daisy that you'll never know. Things you'll never understand.
I can't say I never loved Tom. That wouldn't be true.
I'm going to take better care of you from now on.
You're not going to be taking care of her anymore. She's leaving you.
Nonsense.
I am, though.
She's not leaving me. And certainly not for a common swindler who'd have to steal the ring he put on her finger. I know what your drugstores are all about.
What about it, old sport?
Don't call me old sport.
Please, Tom, I can't handle this anymore.
Go on. I don't think he will annoy you. I think he realizes that his presumptuous little flirtation is over. A wreck? Oh, that's good. Wilson will get a little business at last. Let's have a look.
Crikey, mate. It was a huge head of car. I mean, a humongous head of car.
Let's get out. Goddamn coward. He didn't even stop his car.
What are you doing? Just standing here, old sport. Did you see any trouble on the road? Yes. Was she killed? Yes. I thought so. I told Daisy I thought so. I tried to swing the wheel. Well, heck, was Daisy driving? Yes. I tried to make her stop, but she couldn't. So I pulled on the emergency brake and she fell over into my lap, and I drove on the rest of the way home. I'm just standing here trying to make sure that he doesn't try to bother her. Well, it looks all dark, so why don't you just go on home and get some shut-eye? Well, I want to wait here until Daisy goes to bed. Good night, old sport.
I couldn't sleep all night. A foghorn was groaning incessantly on the sound, and I tossed half sick between grotesque reality and savage, frightening dreams. Toward dawn, I heard a taxi go up Gatsby's drive, and immediately I jumped out of bed and began to dress. I felt that I had something to tell him, something to warn him about, and morning would be too late. Crossing his lawn, I saw that his front door was still open, and he was leaning against the table in the hall, heavy with dejection or sleep.
Nothing happened. I waited till about 4 o'clock in the morning, and she just came to the window and turned the lights off. You know, you ought to go away. Pretty certain they'll trace your car. Leaving now, old sport? Why don't you mosey on over to Atlantic City for a week, or Montreal?
He wouldn't consider it. He couldn't possibly leave Daisy until he knew what she was going to do. He was clutching at some last hope, and I couldn't bear to shake him free. J. Gatsby had broken up like glass against Tom's hard malice, and the long secret extravaganza was played out. I think he would have acknowledged anything now, without reserve. No telephone message arrived. I have an idea that Gatsby himself didn't believe it would come, and perhaps he no longer cared. If that was true, he must have felt that he had lost the old warm world, paid a high price for living too long with a single dream. He must have looked up at an unfamiliar sky through frightening leaves and shivered as he found what a grotesque thing a rose is, and how raw the sunlight was upon the scarcely created grass. There was a faint, barely perceptible movement of the water, as the fresh flow from one end urged its way toward the drain at the other. It was after we started with Gatsby toward the house that the gardener said Wilson's body a little ways off in the grass, and the holocaust was complete. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
I can't wait till I get you on the floor, good looking. Hey, going hot, so hot, just like an oven. And I'll burn myself, I just had to touch it. But it's so fine.
To your wife. If that's the idea, then you can count me out of it. that important? Yeah, it is. Yep. Nonsense!
I am no. Nonsense.
Nonsense!
I am no.
She's not leaving. Nonsense!
I am no.
She's not leaving me. Certainly not for a common swindler who'd have to steal the ring he put on her finger. I know what your drugstores are all about.
What about it, old sport?
Don't call me old sport.
Please, Tom. I'm gonna throw up.
That works.
What's so hard about walking in a line?
Well, go to Atlantic City for a week or Montreal.
You know, I just can't stand her. She's such a pain in the butt. Like, really, if you just... Stop it. I just hate her. Because she is... Stop!